History helps sometimes, perspective it can lend. This whole pandemic thing is new to us, but it's not new to America. A century ago, in November of 1918, Woodrow Wilson was president. Tiger Rag and I'm Chasing Rainbows spun on the phonograph. And Tarzan of the Apes had been all the rage at the picture show before the theaters closed for the Spanish flu. This time, 102 years ago, H1N1 was on a killing spree all across America. It would eventually leave more than 600,000 people dead in our nation of 100 million Americans. Michael Beschloss now, author, wise man, NBC News presidential historian. Michael, here and now, reflecting upon then, what can we learn?
Well, what we can learn is that during a century, we didn't learn that much because what happened was that in 1918, Woodrow Wilson, just as you were saying, Shep, didn't have a national policy on things like masks and social distancing. So basically, people decided what to do almost locality by locality, and the result was this thing spread really badly. Thanksgiving 1918 was not a happy time.
And what were they doing on Thanksgiving in 1918? Were there masks and distancing, or what was it?
Some people were, but most people were not. And there was something called the Anti-Masking League in San Francisco and elsewhere, people who thought that this was an unfair intrusion of the federal government. What does that sound like?
Well, nothing I've ever heard of. And
Right.
I wonder what it was like maybe by Christmas after that Thanksgiving of gathering.
Well, there were a lot of big gatherings, including even in Washington, D.C., and the result was that every time there was one, this really spread. There were some parades, for instance, Thanksgiving parades, where some people wore masks, some did not, and there was no social distancing. And the result was that this pandemic went on for years. Woodrow Wilson, who nowadays would be talking about it, people would demand that he put the forces of the federal government against this pandemic, never gave a single speech, never told people how to protect themselves.
Wow. Michael Beschloss, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Be well.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.